Hi and welcome to the Malat Cookery channel. So today I want to show you how to make the most amazing fall off the bone baby back rib recipe with a delicious barbecue sauce. So I'm actually preparing this for tomorrow's evening meal, so there is a little bit of prep work to do the day before. As I said, this is an absolutely delicious meal, very easy to do. Just follow the steps in the video and you won't go wrong at all. The spice blend I'm going to be using from the Malat range is the Carolina pork rub. And if you don't have access to the Malat range of products, then just choose a really decent dry rub for this recipe. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video, so let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. So the ingredients for today, I've got some pork loin ribs, called all different things all over the world, baby back ribs, etc. You need about 6 of these smaller ribs per portion for this particular recipe. So about 1.5 kilos of ribs for 4 people. There's more than that here, so I'm going to save a rack of ribs and freeze it for later. We've got some Malat Carolina pork rub, and I've split this in 2, so there's actually 30 grams of Carolina pork rub here, split into 20 grams for the dry rub, and 10 grams I'm going to be putting in the barbecue sauce. 4 heaped tablespoons of a good quality tomato ketchup. 2 tablespoons of a good quality maple syrup. I'm going to be using about 1 tablespoon of Worcester sauce or Worcestershire sauce. 4 heaped tablespoons of soft brown sugar and 75 millilitres of dry white wine. So I'm also going to be serving these baby back ribs on a ciabatta, a toasted ciabatta. So these are part bakes. You can serve this on any bread you like. It's just that I've got this ciabatta in, so that's what I'm going to use. And it is absolutely delicious, especially when it's been toasted in the oven. So the first thing we need to do is prepare the ribs before we actually cook them. And the main thing to do is we have a skin or a membrane on the inside of the rib. So where the rib curves on the inside, this is a membrane. It's important that we take that membrane off. 2 reasons for that. One is it's so tough it will stop the dry rub from penetrating into the meat. And the second thing is we're going to be cooking these ribs low and slow in the oven. When they're done, we're going to be cutting them into 6-piece sections, placing them onto the ciabatta, and then taking out the rib bones. If that membrane is still in place, it will be really difficult to take those bones out and can end up quite messy. So it needs to come off. And the only things we need for that is a small knife and a piece of kitchen towel or kitchen paper. Take the knife and just look to pull this membrane up. And it's quite difficult to hold that membrane, so this is where the kitchen paper comes in. So we grip it with the kitchen paper and just work that membrane away from the rib itself until we've pulled all of that membrane off. You're lucky if you can get it away in one piece, but don't worry if you can't. Just go straight back in with the knife again and just ease it out. Okay, so once we've done that, and this actually came off in one piece, the more times you do this, the easier it gets. The next thing we need to do is we just get a suitable container that will fit into the fridge. And we're just going to take our dry rub and just cover both sides of the rib with this dry rub. and just make sure you rub it in. So once we've prepped the ribs, I'm now going to cover this tray with cling film or food wrap, place it into the fridge overnight. We'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so we prepared our ribs yesterday. I've just taken those out of the fridge. We need them to rest for about 15 minutes before we place them into the oven. So that gives us time to make our barbecue sauce. So I've got a saucepan over a medium heat. We add in our white wine. And we just want to bring that wine up to a gentle simmer and just cook out a little bit of that alcohol. So the first thing we want to add to the wine is the sugar. And just make sure that that dissolves in the wine. Next thing to go in is the tomato ketchup. And again, just mix that in. Our maple syrup goes in next. We want to add in the Carolina pork rub. And again, mix that and cook this through for about a minute. Now, and once you've added the dry rub, the sauce will start to thicken nicely. And then finally that tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. So at this point, as an optional extra, if you want your barbecue sauce to be a bit spicy, you could add some, maybe half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper or chili pepper. It's entirely up to you. So the next thing I want to do is just bring this up to a very gentle simmer and just cook this through for about 5 minutes. Stir it occasionally, maybe every minute or so, just to make sure it doesn't burn, stick to the bottom. And then that's your barbecue sauce done. So once our barbecue sauce is made, the next thing to do is I place the oven on at 160 degrees centigrade, and we need to let that get up to temperature. I've got an oven sheet, laid a piece of kitchen foil over the top. We'll take one of our prepared ribs, and then the other one, just lay that gently as close to the other one as possible, so we've got a bit of a border ring around the outside. Take our barbecue sauce, and we're going to be using about half of this for the ribs initially. And just spread that out. Just a nice thin coat, don't go over the top. It's going to waste if it actually runs down and goes onto the foil. So once we've got our ribs coated, we take another piece of foil, lay over the top, and what we're going to do is create an envelope, a really tight envelope, to try and ensure that no moisture actually leaves this parcel when it's in the oven. So we just fold over once, and then fold over again. Just like that. And then we carry on just doing that all the way around. So now we've completed our parcel, as I said, into that preheated oven, 160 degrees centigrade, and we're going to leave this tray in there in the centre of the oven for 3 hours, and we don't even want to look at this in that time. If we decide to check it and open it up, you'll just let all of the steam out and the ribs will start to dry out. Okay, so just before the ribs come out of the oven, just preparing the bread. So bake the bread. These are part bakes that I was using. Cut the ciabatta in half. Just placed a little bit of slightly salted Irish butter on one side. These are going to go back in the oven now, just to toast up. Be absolutely perfect. So these are our ribs now out of the oven. You see how this foil envelope has blown up? That's a really good sign. It means that hardly any steam has managed to escape from that. So just very carefully open this up. And just be mindful obviously of the steam that will be inside here. So these are absolutely done to perfection. Nice and soft. Great. Next thing to do now is just to build the sandwich. Okay, so building our sandwich, our toasted ciabatta, some lettuce on top, cucumber, and place the ribs on top of that. And then very gently just ease those rib bones away from the meat. Take some of that sauce, just drizzle that over the top. Ciabatta on the top. I'm just going to serve this with some chips or fries, and that's it. So there you go, absolutely delicious, fall off the bone baby back ribs in that incredible barbecue sauce, served on that toasted ciabatta. Now ribs are normally quite expensive, but when you place them onto something like that ciabatta, they really do go a long way, so it's not a very expensive family meal at all. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.